So basically, before you click off this video, first things first, the code is in the description in this link of this link. So if you want just the code, you can go down, but not to understand the explanation to this code, you can watch this video so that, or you can put this code parallelly with the explanation so that you can understand why this code is the way it is and the algorithm and how it works. You can understand the intuition if you watch this video. So watch it till the end. Now, as to the question, it is easy since it is the A question of this contest. It is an easy question, but the only trick is the two tricks, small tricks which are involved in the intuition, which will help you solve this question. So before we ramble on, let's jump into it. So basically, if you look at it, the thing is, the question is simple. You read the question, I know. If you didn't, what I'll do is I'll boil it down to the things you need. Basically, there will be given three elements which are like this. Let me write it down. Take 1, 3, and 1, 4, right? 1, 4, and 3. We'll be given three elements of inputs Ln, Rn, Zn. Now what we should do is, given these three inputs, should generate a number such that, for example, this is the generated number. The number of elements of the generated array of the list of numbers should be equal to n, which is 3. So here it's 3, right? The n is equal to 3. The second thing is, this should be in increasing order, strictly increasing order. And the third thing, which is the important part, is if you subtract these numbers, what will you get? 4 minus 3 is 1, right? And 3 minus 1 is 2. This should be in strictly decreasing order. So basically, what you do is, I think I know, don't need to explain, but I will explain it clearly, which is that you subtract these elements, you'll get 1, right? Subtract these, you'll get 2. So this is array A. This should be in strictly increasing order. This is array B. This should be in strictly decreasing order. So these are the two conditions that should be satisfied. We should return the particular array A. There are multiple common possibilities for this array, as you will see later on, but you should return any one of those, and if you such that it satisfies these conditions. This is strictly increasing and B should be strictly decreasing. If it is not, then you can return -1. So that's basically what you're supposed to do. Now that we explain the question, we'll get into the intuition of how we're supposed to solve it and how I wrote my code. It's exactly. So if you look at it, thing is, let's write this example, 1 and 4. Now, n is 3, right? We already wrote two elements from it. So we can reduce n to n minus 2, which is 1. So we just need one more element, and the number should be such that, let a big gap here, the number should be such that, let it be some a, 4 minus a should be greater than p minus 1. Is that? No. I think I wrote it the wrong way. That is a minus 1 for b. Right. Basically, if you didn't forget about everything, we know we need to create an array, but you don't need to create an array B again. Just need to check, is there exist a number? Does there exist a number such that it satisfies this condition? Now, yeah, of course, there are a lot of numbers, it could be, let's take like 3. 3 satisfies the condition. 4 minus 3 is 2, 1, and 3 minus 1 is 2, right? I don't think there are a lot of numbers. What happens for 2 is 4 minus 2 is 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So it won't satisfy. So 3 is the only answer here, unfortunately. So how do we know? How do we know how to get the numbers such that this is satisfied? Simple. Look at the intuition for this. This is thing you're supposed to listen to carefully, which is that in order to satisfy this condition, for let's take like 1 to 7. to 7. But just forget about 1 itself. Let's take R for some number. Let's take 7. Since it should be in decreasing order, the difference between this and the previous number before this should be the least, right? The difference between these two numbers should be the least. Now, what number would be such that, forget about the rest of them, just think about what number would be such that here we will get the difference which is minimum, the least possible, which is 1 in this case. We can get a difference of 1. We should get a difference of 0 because this should be strictly greater. So we can't write 7 again. So it will be 0. 7 minus 7 is 0. That's not how it works. What is the number? The next smallest number after 7 is 6. 6 minus 7 is 1. Right. And after this, we can again write 5. But the difference will be 1. These are equal. This should be greater than. So what is the next number which should give us a difference greater than, such that the difference should give us a number greater than 1, which is 2. So what is the number such that if we difference this with this previous number, we'll get a difference of 2. It's 4, right? 4 will give us a difference of 2. 2 is strictly greater than 1. Now what is the next number which will give us a difference of 3? 1. So it gives a difference of 3, which is greater. So what you're basically doing is, forget about L for now. When you're given a particular number R and N, how many, stuttering a lot. So listen, basically we are utilizing R to calculate how many numbers, what are the possible numbers we can go from the R down till whatever number we are supposed to require. We do that using 7. Then since the number which will give us a difference of 1 is 7 minus 1, 6, we'll get 6. And the difference for it to be, this number to be 2, it should be 4. For the difference to be 3, this number should be 1. So using R, we can go from the left to right, from the right to left. But where should we stop? We stop when n is 0, which is n minus 2 is 0. I mean, n minus 2 is 1 in this case, right? For that example. So let's take, for example, let's write it like this. It's 1. This is 7. This is 2. So n minus 2, this is not 2, this is 4. So n minus 4, 4 minus 2 is 2. Right. So now using R we have calculated the numbers we need correspondingly in decreasing order, for it to get in decreasing order. Now, how many times should we calculate this thing? Because there should be in a bound. These numbers should lie in between these bounds, right? So how many times should we calculate this depends on this number. So 2, right? 7 will calculate the first number, which is 6. Then this 2 becomes 1 because we calculate one number remains to calculate, which we'll calculate by again doing it 4 and 0 now. Now we calculated 4. Now we satisfied everything till this condition. Forget about this. We didn't calculate this. This is all how far we have come. Now, this is where we are satisfied the condition, which is that 6 minus 7 will be 1, 4 minus 6 will be 2. So till here everything is fine. Now, there's one missing number here, which is 1. So L, right? Now if you look at L should satisfy two conditions. Like these are the last two tricks in this intuition which will make this code work, which is that the first things first is the resulting number we'll get should not be less than L, first things first. Because if we keep going, we keep calculating it, and we realize, for example, if L in this case is 6 and N was 4, how can we do that? We can't do it because we reached 2, right? We calculated the 2 and we got N of 4. I mean, we got the final number as 4, which is less than 6 itself. It's not possible. So it should always be greater than, not even equal to. Even if it's 4, it's not wrong, correct, because it should always be greater than or equal. I mean, in this case, if it's 4, it will work. I'll tell you why. But you get my point, basically. It should not be. What I'm trying to say is, this number should be greater. The number you'll get should be greater or equal to. I'll tell you this equal to condition will check in another way, another trick. So basically forget about everything I said till now. I was confused a bit. L is 1 and R is 7. Calculate till here. You should make sure that it's not this number we calculate from n. The number of times we calculate the number should not be less than 1, less than L. Just that's all you need to know. Now, the next thing we'll check is, now it's 1, right? So this is the array we'll get from this. This is what you're supposed to return. But before we check till here, this is the part which we have checked. We have to check 1 and 4 too, right? Because we have to check the entire array to check whether it works or not. Now for that, what we should do is subtract it, right? Because 1 is strictly greater than 4, so this condition is satisfied. So this condition, A condition is satisfied. Now let's check at B. B condition is satisfied or not. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 is greater than 2. So yes, both this A condition and B condition are satisfied now. Which is why you can return the array itself, which is we'll return 1, 4, 6, 7 as the answer for 1, 7 and 4. Now, this condition, if it turns out that for example, let's take that for the B condition we got 1, 2 and 2. Maybe we got the difference as 2. Forget about this one. For some array A, we got the difference of the first and second numbers as B2. It's equal to it. If these two are equal, then this may be satisfied, but this is not. This shouldn't happen. If it's 1, it's less than, which should also not happen at all. So this shouldn't happen. It should be in decreasing order. So this is where the two tricks come in. The first is doing this thing. Second is the first trick. This is the intuition. Till here is the intuition. These are two tricks. The first trick is checking whether the number we obtain, the resulting number, is not less than this L. The second trick is subtract these two and find out whether the difference of these two numbers is greater than the difference of these two numbers. That's it. So now, how do we write this in code form? Yeah, so basically what I'll do here is first we're going to need a few variables. Obviously our L, R, this marker is not working. So basically the variables we'll need are first L and R. Obviously we need those L, R and N variables. So it's L, R, N. We also need another variable flag and what else? Car number. I'll tell you what these variables are, and right and previous. I think that's it, right? Check once and tell you. Yeah. I also need an array. So I'll tell you one by one what these variables are for. These we know, obviously we discussed till now. This flag is used when we need to differentiate between whether the array which is they're asking us is even possible or not. If flag is 0, we initialize the flag as 0. If flag is 1, which means that an array is not possible. We get in the if else conditions, and if flag is 0 for some condition, which means that flag is 1 for some condition, which means that an array is not possible. This is important because for future reference for the code to not print yes and no simultaneously, it just has to print no. To not print -1 or the array simultaneously, it just has to print either -1 or the array, one of those things. So flag helps us with this thing in the code if you look at it. Now for the number, what it done in that code in the previous section was okay. So 1, 4, 6, 7, right? We decremented it, right? We decremented 7. If you look at it properly, what you're basically doing is What I explained to you till now was the intuition. What we're doing now is decrementing 7 by 1, decrementing 6 by 2, decrementing 4 by 1, 3. So number is basically that decrement. So we decrement 7 by the number. We decrement R by the number. And we'll add number by 1. Number initially will be num. Num will be 1 initially. And as we decrement it, we'll get 6. We'll add num as by 1. So it will be 2. So initially for 7, 7 minus 1 is 6. Now it will be 2. So 6 minus 2 will be 5. Like that. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? So basically 6 minus 2 will be 4, sorry. So what you'll do is, this number is for that decrement. In that code, if you look at it, you'll understand. Now, number is explained for right. Right is basically nothing. It's just this code, if you look at it, right. Yeah. Right is basically the pointer. If you want to make pointers, just point it as this will be right. I guess so. No. This will be right initially. This will be right. So what you're doing is basically in that code, if you look at it, right minus this value, right value. So we'll get right minus, is that what we're doing? Decrement number, sorry. Right minus decrement number. So right is basically right value. This initially it's right value. So right minus decrement number. So right is this. After decrement it, we'll update right as this. We'll update right as this. Now, what is previous? Previous is basically a track of the previous value from right. And why we need this is because I'll tell you later on. So these are the initial arrays, and this is the array because we need to store these things. Once we know whether it's possible or not, we need to store it, and we need to return the actual array, not just yes or no. So we need to store these values. Initially, how it will be stored, I'll show you. Basically, for this 1.7 code, I'll show you how it works. We'll write down the variables, right? Prev flag number, okay, and the array itself. So let me show you properly how this thing works for this 1,7. This 1, this is 7, this is, how much is it? 4, right? Yeah, 4. So initially we get into the loop and we'll subtract the right value. We'll get the temp value. What is that? What is the variable name? Current. We also have another variable called current. It will basically check it. It's nothing. Current is basically that subtraction operation we're doing. So current initially will be right minus right is equals to initially 7. Previous is also equal to 7 in this case. Flag is 0. Num is also num. I think num was. Oh, what was num? Num. Yeah, decrement number, right? Decrement number was 1. Sorry, I don't know why I stuttered there. Current is basically current. You know what it is. Current, I just told you. Current is the number which you're going to calculate right now, which is right minus num, the subtraction decrement number. 7 minus 1 will be 6. So now we'll check, is 6 less than 1? No. So we'll add 6 to the array, which is we'll add 6. Now we'll update the right value as 6. Update previous value as 7. Yes. So next what we'll do is, from this one, what we'll again subtract num will be 2. The 6 minus 2 is 4. Current will be 4. Is 4 less than 1? No. So we'll add 4 too. Now we'll update right value as 4 and previous value as 6. Now array, now number will be 3. Now again look at current. What is it? Current will update it to 4 minus 3 is 1. First things first. This will only happen 2 times because in the for loop, if you noticed, the for loop written it as n, and the value of n we here will update it as n minus 2 because we have these two elements. So n minus 2 will be the value. So this will only occur for 2 times because 4 minus 2 is 2. So this will this loop will occur for 2 times. So after these 2 times, it will come out automatically. Now we have this array values, and we have this previous and right. Now all we have to do in this case is the first conditions has been checked. Till here we check. I mean, for that L and R, if you look at it, 1 comma 4 comma 6 comma 7, we look at it, we've done everything, and we checked whether this number at the end too, we have checked that whether this number is less than or equals to 1. Yes, it is. So this first trick is checked in the intuition. The second trick is to check whether this subtraction is greater than this subtraction or not. For that, what we'll basically do is, we know the value of 1 is L, right? L. We know the value of 4 in this case is right. That's it. So here the thing is, we have value of 4 as right. 4, which is, I'll write it down like this. Right minus L. Now for the value of 6, which is previous year, because this is why we need previous variable here, because we need to keep track of the number here. Now you can say we have the number already in the array. The thing is, if the number is small, if the array is just one element long, which means that n is 3, then n minus 2, 3 minus 2 will be 1. If array is 1, then it will create a problem, because if you just write, I'll tell you for example. Basically, you should check whether this number is greater than right minus previous. Previous minus right, sorry. Previous minus right. Now, you must be wondering, we could just write it like this, right? Instead of writing previous minus right, we can just write array of minus 2 minus array of minus 1. Something like that. Not exactly, I mean array is reversed here. So in this case, this will be minus 2 and minus 1. Yeah, it is correct. Basically, you're understanding it. We already have the elements in the array. Why do we need to write previous and right? Because if the length of array is 1, then this will give us an array out of index error. That's why you shouldn't usually write it like this here. We'll instead write previous and right, which we have already keeping track of. And even if the value of n is just 1 in this case, n minus 2 is just 1, we still have previous value already assigned here. If the value is 1, this condition will still be checked properly. So with this one, we'll check whether it's correct or not. Now right value is 4 and left value is in this case 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. So greater than or equal to previous minus right. Previous in this case is 6 minus right is 4, which is 2. So yes, 3 is greater than 2. Now in these cases, you might have noticed in the if condition we are checking, right, whether it's greater than or equals to L. The first condition, if it is not, then we'll update flag as 1. If it's not the case, update flag as 1 here. Even here too, in the last condition we have the second trick. If this is not satisfied, we'll again update the flag as 1. Until those two instances have not been occurred, the flag will remain 0. And in the end, if it will be returned, if flag is 0, then yeah, this means that these two tricks have been satisfied, which means that we can print the array. And all we have to do is first things first, flip the array. That's the thing. The first mistake you will make is, of course, you wrote the code, but the problem that you will get is this 6 and 4. So it will be 1, 6, 4, 7. should flip the array. You should flip these numbers in the array. You should get 4 and 6. So that's why you should just add L plus array of -1 plus R. You do this, just add these elements and you will get 1467 and you can return that number and you get it. So yeah, of course, as I said, I have the code in code GitHub link for this code. So yeah, it was a pretty easy question. You just keep in mind these two tricks and the intuition I told you. You'll understand how to solve the question. So yeah, thank you. If this video helped you, it will be grateful for me. And yeah, thank you.